Welcome back to Watching Business Incorporated on Channels Television. We continue with the energy security or energy affordability conversation now. We're doing this with Kelvin Emmanuel. Kelvin Emmanuel is a financial analyst. Joins us also from our Abuja studio. Kelvin, good afternoon. Just when Nigerians should be celebrating availability of locally refined petrol, we have all of this, uncertainty, information mix-up to deal with. Dangote sold at this price, and this one sold at this price, and then pump price has now gone up again just a couple of weeks after we had the new price from Nnpc. And I'm wondering, should we be regretting that we now have a local refiner of petrol?
Thank you so much for having me. To be honest with you, the body language that the government has shown and Nnpc has shown doesn't appear like they are excited about the Dangote Refinery, because despite the pomp and pageantry of yesterday, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy went there with his team. Only 67 trucks of 45,000 litre size took products from the gantries at Dangote Refinery yesterday. Only 67 trucks. The government said that they had up to 300 trucks mobilized. Actually, only 67 trucks took products. And as we speak, about 193,000 metric tons of PMS, substandard PMS, by the way. And the reason why I keep emphasizing that the PMS imported into Nigeria is substandard is because despite the fact that it's imported at 70 cents per litre, which is 15 cents higher than the price at which Dangote is giving them ex-refinery price plus levies, you have a situation where the government says it wants to try to do backward integration and take products from Dangote Refinery, but then it goes ahead and still goes to import 193,000 metric tons of PMS, which is landing in Lagos this month of September. Now, Nnpc released a statement and says that, they are trying to blame Dangote Refinery for the increase in price of PMS. But if you realize it, the major issue that drives the price of petroleum derivatives at refinery usually are, number one, the price of crude oil, which hasn't changed much because Nigeria doesn't have control over the price of crude oil. Out of about 32 million barrels that OPEC members produce on a daily basis, Nigeria contributes only about 1.5 million barrels to that. And the exchange rate. Okay? So at 1,635, 1,645, Dangote is selling plus levies, because Dangote is operating in a free trade zone, plus levies. And I'm adding that deliberately. Plus levies, Dangote is selling at 55 cents on the dollar. If you're selling at 55 cents on the dollar, and in neighboring Ghana, that is like 1 hour, 20 minutes by air from Abuja, they are selling PMS at $1.30, $1.40. In Canada, they are selling PMS at $1.70. In Singapore, they are selling the same PMS at $2.70 per litre. Dangote is bending over backwards for Nigeria because it will be more profitable for him to export the PMS produced in Nigeria than for him to sell it to Nigeria. But given that Nnpc is owing international traders, it's owing traders $6.8 billion. And one of the reasons why I'm telling Nigerians that Nigerians would rather believe Dangote than believe Nnpc is because in August, Nnpc denied they were owing. The first week of September, they came back and acknowledged they were owing traders. And the duration for that contract has expired. They are currently in demurrage period, which means they are paying about, based on my calculation, $1.3 million in interest on a daily basis to traders they are owing, that they neither have the crude oil feedstock or the cash to pay. By the way, the products they took from Dangote Refinery yesterday and they will take for the most of this month is actually not cash backed. They didn't pay cash for it. They had to secure letters of credit from a multilateral development bank. So the confusion around this and the body language has shown that clearly Nnpc is not happy that Dangote Refinery is on.
Well, that's sad because, we saw the minister there, we've seen government officials there, which is supposed to be a form of endorsement. And also, we do know that having a locally refined petrol is supposed to at least cut off or at least reduce some of those logistics costs that is involved in importing it into the country. And as many people have said, even if a local refiner is being subsidized, it's better for the economy at the end of the day. And then the other one is at least a little bit of hope for the Naira and for Nigerians as the consumers. So I wonder where the consumers would go to now. Dangote is a businessman. He has to make back. He has a $20 billion investment right there. And if Nigerians cannot trust what the Nnpc is saying, then they're just left in the middle with nowhere to turn.
Look, so the landing price for the PMS they bring into Nigeria is 1,165, 1,170 naira per litre. That's the landing price. Yeah. Before now, Nnpc was applying nearly 550 to 600 naira subsidy per litre. Nnpc claims that Nigeria consumes 70 million litres per day. I say Nigeria doesn't consume 70 million litres per day, and this is the reason why I say so. In 2002, Nigeria was consuming 21 million litres. In 2003, it went up to 25. In 2006, it went up to 26 million. In 2008, it went up to 27. In 2009, it went up to 29.1 million litres. If you consider the compound average growth rate of the demand, daily demand of PMS in Nigeria, it grew at 11% between 2002 and 2009. All of a sudden, between 2009 and 2024, the daily demand jumped by 234%. From 29.1 million litres, it went to 70 million litres. The government cannot give you empirical data to justify that. The number of cars that were imported between 2009 that justified a sudden spike, the number of tricycles, the number of generators, the population growth rates. Did the population of Nigeria triple or quadruple within the intervening period? The answer is no. So why the sudden spike? Why can't the government justify it? Last year, the government said that the true consumption was 41 million litres, and that lasted for only 2 months. So how come all of a sudden that number has jumped back to 70 million litres? And could it be that the fact that the government is not transparent with Nigerians on the actual daily true north of the daily consumption of PMS be the reason why the government is not able to apply under recovery for subsidizing petrol to Nigerians? Look, Dangote as a company, is a private company, it doesn't have the authority to set the price of PMS. It cannot come and announce the price of PMS. And the reason is because based on sections 205 and 206 of the PIA today, Nnpc is the sole buyer of PMS from Dangote Refinery. If Nnpc claims that the market is deregulated, number one, it will issue a statement based on FEC approval that the market, based on section 205 and 206, like it did for AGO, is been deregulated. And it will not be the sole buyer. It will allow Ipman, it will allow Moman to come and buy products from Dangote. Why is Nnpc the sole buyer? So these are questions we have to interrogate and ask ourselves to understand. And combined with the fact that yesterday there was a huge pomp and pageantry, there was a ceremony that was covered by the Nigerian media and international media, everywhere, press statements, release and acknowledgement, but only 67 trucks took products yesterday. And there is evidence to show, as we speak, that about 193,000 metric tons of products on different vessels are on its way to Nigeria this month. So does it make sense that you have a brand new refinery that is functioning, that is currently at 72 to 75% capacity utilization, that imported about 9.7 million barrels and sourced products in dollars from other operators in the US, in Brazil, and in Nigeria, and paid in US dollar, bought 5.3 million barrels worth of crude oil in US dollar, and has the capacity to refine and solve 100% of Nigeria's fuel needs. But you still have a state-owned company importing PMS into Nigeria. By the way, that is dirty fuel. Does it make sense? This is the question we have to ask as Nigerians.
All right, Calvin, a lot of questions there, very small answers, a lot of questions. As the media, we will keep asking these questions and probing, and hopefully it would have, the NNPCL, or is it Dangote, the Federal Executive Council, talk to us as Nigerians so that we know exactly what the real picture is. I mean, if we could have Dangote with a lot of trucks waiting to be offloaded, and yet we have imported petrol on its way to Nigeria, I mean, it leaves a whole lot of questions and concerns right there. But thank you so much. That's the much we can take. Unfortunately, on live programs, you have, very little time to address some of these issues. But it's a continuous conversation, and thank you so much for your contribution this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.